Alright, this is lesson 1, copy and compare circles. You can use this is your sidebar. If you click this, you'll have access to all of these on the sidebar, or you can start clicking on the table of contents. So I'm going to click on the sidebar here, and it opens up all these tasks, okay? So let's take a look at the first one. So this tool is just here to let you play around with it a bit. I'm just going to introduce the point tool here. Point tool, you can put down points. They specify different locations on here, okay? You don't need to do anything here, so you don't have to copy anything I'm doing here, but let's take a look at these things, okay? This is the undo button. Look, notice it says undo. This is the refresh button. Undo removes your last action. So for example, the last point I put down was J. No, it wasn't. It was I think. It was K. Oops. Anyways, so last letter that is here is K. So undo removes K. If I keep clicking it, I remove J, then I, then H, and so on, okay? If I click the button next to it, it says redo. So it brings them back. Okay? If I want to get rid of everything, I click the refresh button, and everything is gone, okay? If I click the refresh button, I can't undo or redo. It refreshes everything I did. Last thing to introduce will be the eraser button. Delete. It lets me remove whatever, so I can click on something to remove it, or I can click and hold, and the square, anything it touches will be removed. So if I don't touch it, it's okay, but once I touch it, if the square touches the point, it's gone. The square touches the point, it's gone. Okay? So here we learned how to put down points, how to use the undo button, how to use the redo button, how to refresh the page, and how to erase things. Okay? One last thing to add. If I zoom out while my cursor is on this box, if I scroll down, I zoom out. If my cursor is in the square and I scroll up, it zooms in. Okay? If I want to scroll up and down, I have to move my mouse away from here to move up and down. Okay? I will reference that again later. Let's continue to the first task, which is demo create lines. Alright, so let's read the instructions and try to copy them. Draw a line segment between points A and B. So, line segment has a beginning and an end. The tool we want out of these three will be the segment tool. I will start at A and end at B. This draws a line segment between A and B, okay? Next it says draw a line between points C and D. So, I click on line, I click on C, and then I click on D. Notice that I don't have to click and hold after I. So I just have to click on C, and then click on D. Next it says draw array from E towards F. Towards means, from means I start there. Towards means I go in that direction. And same thing for from G towards H. I start at G, I go towards H. Another common mistake I see people make is they click here and then they click here. You do not need to create a new point, okay? If you click anywhere else, for example, I can click here, I make two new points. But I need to click on G, move the mouse to H, and then click on H. Okay? So this should be your end result. It should look something like this. Let's continue to the next one, okay? Review, draw radius. So, first one, it says draw a radius of circle P. So I use this tool, the pen tool. I draw in what is a radius. So for here, this is where we need to know our vocab. A radius is from the center of the circle to anywhere on the edge. So I can draw this. That is a radius. But it can be anywhere. This can also be a radius. This is also a radius, okay? Look how awful I draw it though. We'll get back to why that's important later. So, on the bottom part, we're going to use this segment tool and draw a radius like this. If we compared it to our on paper and pen tools, this would be like using your pen without a ruler. This would be like drawing a line with the ruler, okay? Cool. Let's continue. Let's move on to demo, copy, and create circles. So, I mentioned earlier you need to have your cursor off this part of the screen in order to scroll up and down. For example, if I scroll up and down on the left and right, it moves up and down. If I click here though, and I try to zoom in and out, or scroll up and down, I just zoom in and out. In order to scroll at this point, I need to move it here, and then I can scroll. Or I click outside, and then I move up and down. If you try to scroll up and down here, it won't work. Make sure you click outside. Now let's learn how to use the compass tool and create circles, okay? To copy a circle, we start with the compass tool. Remember, you have to select the compass tool first, okay? So start with the compass tool. To copy a circle, you click on A, you click on B. This gives me a circle to put anywhere I want, and it says to center on C. That means I want to put the center on C. This is similar to using a compass tool with pencil and paper, where you match the length of a circle of a radius from another circle, and then you draw another circle elsewhere, okay? Let's look at our second way of drawing circles on Geogebra though. So version 2. Once again, I start with the compass tool again. This time, instead of clicking the points, I click directly on the edge of the circle. So my mouse is on the edge of the circle. I click. Once again, I don't need to drag it. I just click once on the circle, and then I click once on C. I'm done. It saves me a clicking on the points if I just click on the circle. I showed you clicking on the points though to show you that's how it looks, to compare it with how we do it with pencil and paper. Alright, finally, this is how you create a circle with a certain radius, okay? If we remember our previous one, the radius is from the center to the edge. So if we want a certain size of the circle, we can click on this. I can either click on the 2 points, A, B, or I click on the line segment itself. Both work. And centering it at C, once again, is I want the center of the circle to be point C. Alright, so that's how we draw draw a circle and copy circles up here, okay? Next one is demo intersections, okay? If we remember in class, intersections are where two lines or curves cross. So it's like an X. Example I used in class was intersection of streets is where two streets cross, right? So imagine we represent the streets with lines and they're crossing. Our first one wants us to use the point tool to draw points at intersections. The main key here is to recognize intersections. It's here and here, okay? We want to draw points there. First, I'm going to use the point tool to show you the limitations. For example, if I miss that point, if I click a bit off to the sides, it's a blue one, okay? A blue point is a point you can drag anywhere. It's not restrained by anything, okay? That's not what we want though. Let's try clicking again. Oops, I missed again. This time it's red. Red means it's on the circle and I can drag it along this circle, but that's all it can do, okay? It's still not at, I can put it on the intersection, but it's not quite what we want still. Finally, to really hit the intersection, you need to be accurate. So I click here. Green, I cannot move at all. I try to click and drag the point, it doesn't move. Now we know we've drawn an accurate intersection, okay? The bottom point's the same thing. You want to be accurate or else it will be blue or red. Green, however, is the one we want to have at the intersections. Now, the point tool is not the most reliable because it is inaccurate. So let's take a look at the intersection tool. There are two ways to use this. The first one, so this is the intersect tool, is you can click on the points, okay? So if I click on the point, it draws, similar to the point tool, it draws a point at the intersection. Notice if I click elsewhere, not on the circle, nothing happens. It doesn't draw points. If I miss, it doesn't do anything, but if I'm at the intersection, it draws a point. This gives us great control over which one we want to be C, which one we want to be D, similar to the point tool. However, the intersect tool has another purpose, okay? So let's scroll down and see the last one. We select the intersect tool again. This time I click on the left circle, then I click on the right circle. Notice that it marks both intersections and they appear at once for both of them. The limitation of this is I can't always choose where it appears. Selecting one before the other changes the order, but it's really tricky to know where the intersections will appear. So if I say mark the top intersection as point C and you do this, it's not correct. So that's when you have to mark it accordingly to the instructions, okay? All right. The last demo is about comparing lengths, okay? So the question is, which line segment is longer, AB or CD? Now I know from how they look kind of similar. AB might look obviously longer, but let's prove it to ourselves. To do that, we start with the compass tool and we draw circles, okay? So let's draw AB. And so we know this circle has the distance from E to a point on the edge, let's say F, is the same as AB. Okay? That's the purpose of using the compass tool. AB is the same distance as EF. To compare it with CD, we simply draw a circle with this line segment CD. Notice I have point F to help me remind me that AB corresponds with this F, okay? If I put another point next to on the other circle, I know G corresponds with CD. So GE is the same distance as CD. FE is the same distance as AB. Therefore, we know that AB is indeed longer than CD because the circle for AB is bigger than CD. This is how we compare distances in our constructions, okay? We use circles. To compare distances, we use circles to compare which circle is bigger. So that's it for our demos. The last 3 activities simply ask you to try to use what you've learned from these demos and review to complete these tasks, okay? So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.